and welcome to Showband Stories. From Sitting Bull to Mick Jagger. Sounds a bit cryptic. But our guest this week is Eamon Keane from the Indians. Eamon, you're very welcome to
Thank you very much.
Stories.
Good to be here, Stephen. Thank you.
Now, it's been a crazy journey for you, because when you were a star before you were a star, weren't you? You were.
Am I a star?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. One of the leading lights of Irish show bands. But ever before you started in the show bands, you had been exposed to show business.
Oh yeah. Well, I played in the De La Salle Boys band from Ballyfermot.
What age were you then?
Oh, anything from 11 up, you know.
Right. Okay.
We had a very well rehearsed band in the school under the guidance of a man called Brother Victor, and he taught us everything that we knew from then on about organising your music and how to play and your disciplines and all that. Yes, it was the De La Salle Boys band I played in, and we played in quite a few places, like around Dublin. We did fundraising for the school. We would have played in the Marymount Hall there in Harold's Cross. We would have played in the likes of the Apollo and Dundrum, various places around, the cinemas when they'd run concerts for charity, and the school band made their appearance. We also went on tour of England. We got off our Easter exams to work for the school, and we were with Bridie Gallagher on tour.
Oh, the famous Bridie Gallagher.
The famous Bridie Gallagher.
She had a big hit, The Boys of County Armagh.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, fantastic, amazing. So we also appeared in the Royal Albert Hall with Bridie Gallagher's show.
My God, that must have been a thrill for
Patrick's Night. I remember it. No, I think it was 57, 58 on St. Patrick's Night. You wouldn't believe the crowd that was in the place, and balcony. I don't know how many. There must be 12 balconies in the place.
Oh, there is.
Absolutely stuffed to the gills.
I know what it's like. I've played the Albert Hall, and as you walk up the tunnel, you look at this big expanse of people, and then you look up in all of the boxes.
And they're all around you.
They're all
you walk out onto the centre of the stage, and they're behind you.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, up, around, sides, everywhere. Magnificent.
What must that be like for a young boy? I mean, were you overawed by it, or?
Yeah. I don't remember. Because of stage fright, you know.
Stage fright,
yeah.
But you still managed to. You were a feature.
Yeah, well, I had to take 10 steps out from the band and play.
And what did you play?
I was trumpet.
What tune did you play?
Yeah, I played Kevin Barry.
Kevin Barry. So it was an Irish night.
Oh, Bridie Gallagher. She was massive. I mean, that lady was massive. We started a band then called the Silvertones. And my brother was approached by a fellow called Peter Heffernan.
Right. And
Peter Heffernan used to produce and manage a group called the Black Jesters.
The Black Jesters.
Which was the same as the Black and White Minstrels. You remember they used to be on television, Black and White Minstrels? Yeah. But for reasons they had to stop using that title, Black and White. So the Black Jesters had to stop dressing up, you know.
What, would they paint their faces?
Yeah, Black Jesters and them, Al Johnson stuff.
Al Johnson.
How I love you down the knee and all. Yeah.
Had Elvis not?
No.
Was he not filtering through even at that stage?
It was Bill Haley was the first to filter through, you know.
No, that was big, wasn't it? He revolutionised.
Huge. Sure. Even with the school band, then in the 50s, we used to. At the end, when we do a concert in the Gala in Ballyfermot, Gala Cinema now, I think it's Bingo Hall, but we do a concert, and the band would finish up with the concert, and the very last number, Brother Victor did that with his baton to me, you know, and I'd stand up and I'd go bam bam da 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 on the trumpet, and then the whole place just erupts. Yeah. It's still great days.
It's still. I think it's still in the top 2 or 3 rock and roll records of all time.
Isn't that amazing? That was fantastic. Now,
and it stood. He was a showman, wasn't he? Bill Haley was a showman.
Absolutely, that was it.
Eamon, rock and roll is beginning to get the feet tapping, and it began to get you. You must have been considering maybe there's something more to this.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fever, wasn't it? I mean, rock and roll just took over.
It was magic.
Fantastic. Magnificent atmosphere with rock and roll.
One of the great things about rock and roll is that instead of people going to a concert, say, where they would have sat down or watched black and white minstrels or Al Jolson or whatever it was, rock and roll involved the audience because they were now part of the show. They were dancing.
Yes, yeah.
That was the big thing, wasn't it? And they dressed up with the fabulous dresses and the hairstyles and
the fellas with their drain pipe trousers
and the winkle peckers or winkle pickers, whatever you call them.
Yeah, it's amazing. But it's nice to see that that's still there. You know, I mean, the jiving and all that is here. You know, you're talking 50 years later. Over 50 years.
Irish people have a fascination with dancing, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, it's a means of communication in a big way. It's also got to do with, you know, you are touching when you're dancing. So that's also what you want, isn't it?
In ballrooms like this, ballroom of romance. I'm sure you played here many times.
Indeed, yeah.
But I
not in this present condition now. I mean,
no, but it was still.
It's beautiful there now.
It still had a magic, but. Getting back, your journey now is beginning to really, it's becoming kind of almost like a locomotive. You're powering ahead here. So the golden tones, what
you can power ahead when you're young enough and you have the energy, you know. And we had the musicianship in the band as well because of our background. Was, you know, school band background, and the fact that we knew the difference between a wrong note and a right note, you know. So from that point of view, and we were also very disciplined. I mean, we had an unwritten rule in our band in the 60s that if you had a drink before you went on stage, it cost you 100 quid.
Really?
And that was in the 60s.
My God. This was the Golden Tones.
This was the casino.
The casino, where you developed into one of the most highly regarded bands in the country. Every musician knew the casino. You were...
Clearly every punter didn't.
But that was it. This was the strange thing that whenever you talk about the great bands in the country, as I say, every musician would say, you know, the Casino are a top flight pop band, but you weren't making it with regard to the crowd, pulling the crowds in.
We were getting work because the work was there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They needed bands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 650 bands, remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's enough work out there, isn't there? So we were able to get a small share of it. But come along to the end of the 60s, we had to change. That's why we came out with the Indians.
And we're going to talk about that in a second, but hold that thought. And Eamon, one of the songs that you'd like to do as a tribute to Shay is called The Cliffs of Dooneen.
Yes.
Could we hear you do a little bit of that now?
Okay then.
Give it a go. Eamon Keane with the beautiful song The Cliffs of Dooneen in memory of his great friend Shay O'Reilly.
You may travel far, far from your own native home, far away o'er the mountain, far away o'er the foam. But of all the fine places that I've ever seen, there is none to compare with the cliffs of Dooneen. Take a view o'er the mountain, fine sights you'll see there. You see the high Rocky Mountain on the west coast of Clare. Oh, the towns of Kilkee and Kilrush can be seen from the high rocky slopes of the cliffs of Dooneen. It's a nice place to be on a fine summer's day, watching all the wildflowers that ne'er do decay. Oh, the hare, lofty pheasant are quite plain to be seen from the high rocky slopes of the cliffs of Dooney. Fare thee well to Dooney, fare thee well for a while. And to all the fine people I'm leaving behind, to the streams and the meadows where late I have been, and the high rocky slopes of the cliffs of Dooney.